You know, gotta help the team, be a team player.
Can I be your Blissey?
Please, will you? Can we play right now?
Yes.
A match made in heaven.
Yes.
We're gonna slay.
Oh, we're so gonna slay. Just like Aegis, Flames, and Peru unite in this next match. Back to you, Costas.
This is definitely going to slay. And you know, the quirky ones, the different ones, that's, I think, Unite in a nutshell.
Yeah, no, if you were into those style of Pokemon, I think pick it up. Bug types, I think we all were requesting a few more. However, one that has been making a name for itself.
Great segue.
Yeah,
great
so
segue.
much. Thank you. I'll be here. Well, not for too much longer, just for 2 more days. I can't believe the World Championship was over. But a Pokemon like Scyther has also been tearing it up, is where I was eventually getting to with that one.
You should have pretended you were going to talk about Buzzword.
Yeah, that's true. But one thing we did talk about right before we cut to that interview was where is the Zeraora ban? It is absent from this draft. However, Aegis Flames have thrown in the Blaziken, a Pokemon with less than 1% ban rate on our tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty surprising that it's been that low, considering it's been doing really well across the entire weekend. That secure has been super key to a lot of teams winning. We saw LG use it extremely well. But actually looking at the picks, it's a lot of common picks that we've been seeing. One that I think we've talked about a little bit less this weekend is the Mamoswine, which has gone through a whole lot. There's a lot of options for the defenders right now, but we've been seeing it. You can see 20%, which is relatively high for that kind of like second-tier defender.
I think it's also going to be showcasing why maybe we didn't see the Zeraora ban outside of Peru. And I think Mamoswine is actually an incredible matchup into that particular. And yeah, Aegis Flames, all of their damage is going to be coming from these melee all-rounders, and of course a speedster in the case of Zeraora. So we're going to have a lot of up-close personal damage. That's going to be really tough for them to kind of avoid Draken's terrifying Ice Fang. I mean, I talked about how Peru Unite is a story team. That's one way to do it. And yeah, why not just throw in the Armourouge? We got the Char Cadet Bros on opposite sides.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I've ever seen in a tournament match both of them on the opposite sides. They're actually also on their own perfect, like, purple and orange side.
Wow.
It's pretty perfect. This is accurate, lore accurate match.
Production of the script is getting a little too easy to tell that it's scripted. If we could just throw in a few twists maybe. But yeah, no, it's some really interesting stuff in this draft. I think Peru Unite really doing their homework on what Aegis Flames likes to play, and specifically how their strategies play out on the map, and trying to counter that. So a strong focus on anti-melee fights. We got the Mamoswine for the Ice Fang, Clefable just for that big pocket healing, and then Armourouge is basically this great counter pick that's starting to see not a lot of play, only an 11% pick rate on our tournament, but we have seen the evidence of it doing extremely well into these brawl-style compositions.
Right. One thing as well that I think needs to be watched out for, though, and kind of like the opposite direction, is the Clefable being so dependent on everybody being around you means that there are some huge AoE plays that could be made from the side of Aegis Flames. Specifically, I would say maybe some of the Unites could be gigantic. We've seen, I'd say this weekend, a few plays. Oh, wow, they went right into it. That was extremely fast. But we've seen some plays so far this weekend that have just torn entire teams apart.
Yeah, it's true. And of course, you're talking about that Saralege Unite move that has this huge hitbox hitting multiple targets at a time. One of those kind of soft answers is a cleanse, some kind of full heal or something. However, there's no other support Pokemon on the side that can do that. Clefairy having amazing healing, or sorry, Clefable once again, but has amazing healing, but will not be able to cleanse that Saralege kind of timed damage mark.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there are a few other things as well. I mean, the Saralege would be the scariest, of course, if it does fully land. We've seen that literally wipe entire teams. But Hoopa can, of course, stun big, gigantic circles of people. Zeraora itself can do just a lot of normal damage. And then Snorlax, honestly, you usually use it a little bit more defensively, but if everybody's stacked up, it can launch an entire team.
Yeah, we have seen some really proactive offensive Unite moves from Snorlax in the past. It's kind of a do-it-all Unite move sometimes when you just flop on the ground and get that big shield. So we're going to be looking forward to seeing what Atharas can pull off with this Pokemon, especially against such a world-class defender in Draken. I know Spraggles and Duke Snacks have gotten the chance to cast over Peru Unite matches a lot, and they love talking about the support of Kea and the tank of Draken. Nemo going in for the offensive pressure, but we're also pushing here on bot side.
Yeah, pushes from both sides, or I should say in both paths from Peru. However, they're getting pushed back up top. Anemo just trying to escape. A great counter engage from Tempo, who, oh my goodness, is barely escaping. Tries to get chased down using the Mobi for a little bit of mobility, but not going to be able to catch. And that healing, like you said, it is huge. It is some of the most, I guess, concentrated healing in the game. It is so incredibly fast at pulling you back up. You just got to be close.
Yeah, and not to mention when you get that plus upgrade of it, it just AoE becomes gigantic.
Yes.
It's covering just entire areas of where team fights are going to be going on. I like Tempo's play on the Lucario there. We are going to power up punch. We don't have access to our second move yet on Lucario, so we find a way to weave in that damage. I think they were kind of hoping the boosted auto after would get themselves the KO. Comes up a little bit short, but they do make it safely back. Lucario's passive in Steadfast really helping it out of the early game, and I think one of the major reasons why this matchup with Buzzwole versus Lucario is actually going so well for Peru Unite right now on the top side. Problem is, Aegis Flames has a big successful push as Anemo goes down. Leafeon KO'd, Aegis Flames dumping in points into tier 1 on bot side.
That's a lot of points, and especially with Hoopa, they've got to be careful of that. You get a little sad on the bottom. Both Peru and Aegis sit at 71%, but Peru with 31 more games played. We have a hat count coming next game.
Okay,
are we getting spoilers?
Okay, all right. Well, I do love that we have incoming warning of these lower thirds. I love that a lot. But wow, what impressive win percentage for both these squads.
Yeah.
Aegis Flames having quite the tournament run, but Peru Unite a bit longer of a chance to be playing in these events, clearly. These Hoopa portals from the Ocean are going to be pretty important, specifically around the basement and Reggie Alecki battlefields. You can see Snorlax already trying to take up space. Peru Unite taking this one a little bit slower, as Anemo is actually going on a bit of a central area invade for experience instead of trying to fight over the red steel.
I like that idea a lot. The rotation ability from Aegis is so strong from Aegis Flames. Ooh, but they are going to all rotate down to the side of Peru Unite, trying to push down this tier 1. Tons of damage here, just all on top of this pad. They're going to have to back up. Even with the potential of maybe getting some players down, it seems like they timed it really perfectly, as Aegis Flames is actually pushing down the top tier 1 on the other side. So not enough members to come down and help. They will be breaking this pretty exactly, I think, right there. Like 5-point overdone, something like that.
Yeah, I was honestly shocked that they didn't do it earlier. I saw Simon sitting there with 7 points, but against the Hoopa team, you want to do that as early as possible. Shatter that tier 1 goal zone. But I saw there Anemo wanting to get just a couple more attack weight stacks on that Leafeon, wanted to knock out one more ball toy before you break, and they were able to do so and rally back for the Reggie Alecki defense. Aegis Flames not going to take that line down, though, as they're pushing towards this tier 1.
Ooh, I like this thought. They're going to go in really, really far. Buzzwole starting the initiation. Big Unite coming out. And that's going to be 1 KO already on the Swinub. Double altogether, and that should be a third with, oh, well, I was going to say with Zynas going down, but hold on, they're actually managing to escape really, really well. Then, especially the extra damage of the birds is actually starting to add up. Finally manages to catch all the way down, but that was a pretty good delay as far as things go. One more target with Tempo on that Lucario, who most likely won't be able to escape yet. Finally getting KO'd, but delayed long enough that we are going to get some revenge KOs as Anemo comes back into the fight.
Yeah, I mean, Nemo stacking up his attack point. Oh, what an eject button earthquake combo from Draken to finish things off. And Nemo going to be stacking up the Excel Bracer by 1 point with that assist. But either way, clean little comeback from Peru Unite, but certainly the major win in that team fight going over to Aegis Flames. A lot of big knockouts. Tempo on this Lucario really trying to kind of push the limits of this Pokemon, find these KOs in pretty dire situations. I think so far it hasn't worked out in their favor, but they are keeping pace on levels, at least with their roster, slightly behind Aegis Flames right now.
Oh my goodness, just exploded right there. That's going to be a double for Matt, maybe going for a triple. Yep, 3 altogether. Actually, maybe a 4th up there as there's a 1v1 happening as this Regirock is going down very quickly. And oh, finally a little bit of an assist. Oh, the Unite, I think, maybe connecting. I'm not sure if that connector barely missed, but regardless, they're both going to get out of that. Oh, maybe a little bit too risky. Some damage coming in the other direction. The Armor Rouge definitely could melt both of those melee Pokemon just by standing close to them.
Yeah, and Matt's just getting this discharge shield becoming such an important factor in a lot of these engagements, allowing them to just barely escape getting KO'd, and then of course get some of that return damage. And yet again, Lucario getting punished. Cerulege Unite hits 3 targets, sets themselves up for a KO streak of 2, but that's just so far. Make it a triple. It's Draken and an MO trying to create a little bit of space, looking for the last hit of the Regieleki, but it comes via the Sarah ledge.
Wow, they do manage to get it, but then once more, we're going back to the chase game. It feels like there's been a lot of just chasing within this game, especially maybe like right after some of these team fights, but Anemo doing a great job. Being able to kite using Razor Leaf is such a strong, nice skill to have is what I was going to say for playing that Pokemon, but they do finally catch, and things just seem to be going the way of Aegis Flames altogether. It's not like it's a one-sided game, but they're ahead in most areas.
Yeah, they are. I think right now Peru Unite has been relying, though, a lot on Draken's Mamoswine to achieve anything in these team fights. It feels like it has been an uncharacteristically quiet game from both Anemo and Tempo, who have not found a way to get a good shutdown on what Aegis Flames is trying to pull off. I think this Zero Aura Sarah Ledge, I have to imagine this Brazil squad is kind of surprised they got it in the draft. And they had the chance to play it. And so far, it's been looking amazing. Big Unite, like you called out. Zero Aura having some clean plays. So exciting so far.
Yeah, couple huge Sarah Ledge Unites. They've been looking really good. Another thing that I was talking about, I talk about this at every tournament, I feel like. I don't fully understand still why we see so much priority on Lucario from a lot of these teams.
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot today.
Yes, but I talk about literally every tournament. I feel like we have this discussion, but I was just talking about it to some of the other casters too. I feel like that's not. I mean, Tempo's an amazing player. We know that, but I always feel like the impact of Lucario is a little bit low compared to a lot of the other picks you can see around it. I mean, obviously Blaziken was banned, but that's an option. Serena does some similar things. That's an option. Buzzwole obviously on the other side. But we'll see if maybe I eat my words here as we're getting down to the final stretch. Relatively close in score. Level 15 already on Aegis Flames, though. That's 2 levels above anyone else in the game.
And a latent Regirock buff on Aegis Flames as well. So a bit of damage reduction due to those bonus defenses. So he's from at level 15 on this Sarah Ledge, by the way. He's going to try to threaten, and here's a pull. They actually grab the Clefairy first, and the Buzzwole gets the first KO.
Oh, already one down. We are going to be uniting from Draken in the middle of the pit. Everybody just on top of everybody. I don't even know what got that last hit. It was the Armor Rouge of all things. Peru managing to grab it, but only 3 members up. And certainly Draken's shield is already down. A few members low on the side of Aegis Flames. 1 member running up to score in the northwest side. And it looks like they're getting stopped. That shield is so close to being broken. An inch away. They got it in. The lead now going to Peru's side.
Yeah, 2 games is able to kind of crowd control Zinus for a little bit, but can't break that final piece of shield. There's still over a minute left on the clock. Aegis Flames with a very remarkable team fight. Maybe they lose the Rayquaza, but not a lot of Peru Unite walking out of that fight with Rayquaza's shields. There is still room for Aegis Flames to rally back and take the point lead.
The biggest thing here is they've got a decent amount of time to build back the Unite move for the Hoopa. Hoopa, as far as Unite moves, is one of the biggest comeback scoring Unites in the entire game. And they don't need that many points. If they actually keep small points in their pockets, that would be beneficial. It's almost unfortunate that they've got 50 in pockets for 3 of their members.
Yeah, they at least have a little bit of time on the clock, so a team fight is still available. 10 seconds on the respawn timer for Zinus for this Armor Rouge. Draken going to be first one to rally up. Kea there as well. The support core, the first line of defense. Sarah Ledge Unite hits every single defender at the exact same time. Unstoppable for the Snorlax, looking to get that push as Mamoswine is already down. Make that Kea as well. All 3 down. Just the Armor Rouge, just the Leafeon left to defend. But still, Aegis Flames has not found an angle to get these scores in. Hoopa too low. Anthorus needs to make it back to the portal, but all they can do is run.
Hoopa's running to the top path. There's 5 seconds left. They need to get it in. There's somebody on pet. No, they're not going to be able to make it. And Peru with the comeback taking game number 1 just barely.
Zinus with 2 hero plays on that Armor Rouge, not only securing the Rayquaza with what I have to imagine was that Psy Kaboom Unite move right on top of the Rayquaza pit, just out of the melee range, charging up with a huge explosive psychic attack to knock that one out, break the shield. I mean, we're talking about this match being won in millimeters, not miles.
Literally the startup of the move happened and it looked like they were getting the dunk off. It just didn't quite happen. But as close as that one was, I feel like this could go to a game 3 for sure. But I'm sure Peru doesn't want that. We're going to be starting off with a very same bans, it looks like, from both sides.
All right, we're going to be running it back. I do think that Zero Aura was phenomenal for Aegis Flames again in game number 1. So Peru Unite, I guess we're all hoping they're not going to be punished by the hubris a little bit in this situation, but they do have the 1-0 score lead. There is the Buzzwole on the other side. Yet again, Dragon could try to steal away the Snorlax and pick it up for their own side. However, the Mamoswine, being the on-paper counter for the future Zeraora pick, does feel like the wise decision here.
We may actually not even get the Zeraora pick, though. Matt's already picking up this Buzzwole. Obviously, they can switch, but we did see Matt's go to Buzzwole in a lot of the games where Zeraora was banned. So it may be one of those decisions where it's like, okay, let's go for something else. And honestly, the Zeraora, while it didn't look bad, it certainly didn't look quite as dominant as it did in a lot of the other games that we've seen so far this weekend. So maybe they're just going for a different idea.
Yeah, they could be. I mean, I was pretty, my jaw hit the floor when they pulled Kea in with that crazy pull right at the start of that Ray fight. So, I mean, I guess I don't need a whole lot of evidence to cheer for the Zeraora. I'm a bit of an easy laugh in that way, I suppose. But it looks like Aegis Flame is going to be hovering almost the exact same 5 Pokemon will be locked in place. Peru Unite kind of doing the same thing. So this has been a really fun screen where we're just kind of doing the exact identical thing. Tempo was Lucario in a match previous. This is going to be their one chance to change up the composition from the former 5. Currently, they're hovering the Zarina, and they did not change anything. It is Lucario. This is not a replay. It is not a pre-record. This is game number 2.
That was an opportunity for them to make me look smart by going... Unfortunately, they instead made me look stupid, which I usually do to myself, but we'll take it here. No, honestly, I still do feel like Zarina would be really, really strong in this comp as opposed to the Lucario, but they feel comfortable, and I mean... If you feel comfortable, that means a whole lot. You know, if there's stuff you don't have to worry about, if you don't have to worry about changing up your strategy, that can leave you able to kind of adapt more and talk about different ideas more. There's only so much time you have to actually think in a game. But the full repeat is really interesting.
Yeah, and listen, Lucario does have some solid counterplay into Buzzwole. Buzzwole's best part of its kit is kind of that full combo it can extend on you. Lucario, one of those unique all-rounders that does have very easy access to an unstoppable in that power-up punch, right? So you're able to just trigger the charge of that move, kind of avoid a lot of Buzzwole's charge attacks, potentially even the Sterilite, but like still some big moments there that we're looking for, as well as Lucario, I think uniquely does have a stronger pace to that level 5 than Buzzwole will.
Yeah, that certainly is the biggest advantage, I think. And that's actually, you know, I was just speaking to some of the other casters in the green room, and we came to that decision as well, that the big advantage for Lucario is the very, very early game. But here we go. Aegis Flames on their last life. They were ahead last game, but they've got to make it now 2 in a row. Peru Unite looking to move into the top 4.
Yeah, I can already hear the crowd losing their minds for this Aegis Flame squad, the heroes of this team. But here we go, that promised fact. This WCS2025 season, we have seen a total of 5,862 games on and off stream. And in those, over 23,000 hats have been witnessed. So shout out to the Hollowware with hats. We know it's a certain content Cowboys favorite, and good to see it's a favorite of the players as well.
Of course, hats, most important thing in this game. But
absolutely.
Right now, I don't know if we have any hats in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Zeraora has a cowboy hat on one of its Hollowware, so crazy work from Matt Z to not be equipping that one. So far, so good for them. They got 10 points in pocket for both the Pokemon and Path, mostly because we do have an absent attacker, as we do have a split of the central area from Peru Unite, and then we'll be carrying the red buff, and I believe that will be Zainus with the blue buff.
The direction that they're going to choose to go is going to be mostly top this time. We've seen a lot of teams really crashing bottom. Right now, Onemo getting hurt really bad. Has been really good at escaping, but imagine even with the eject button to escape, or I guess you'd say against an eject button. Great support from the team, but hey, you know, you've got a lot of help right there with that little Clefairy. And on the other side, wow, we had a really, really far push from the side of Peru Unite. Draken maybe being punished a little bit for it, and Matt's already getting that KO.
Yeah, I mean, now is the time. If you're looking for any kind of stacks push forward, we don't have access to Hyperspace Hole quite yet. I think Hoopa just getting to that level 4 previously, so you don't have that quick defense you're worried about. You have to rotate down the old-fashioned way. Zainus doing a great job of defending this Goal Zone Fire Spin with that huge area of effect. Makes it very easy to prevent enemy teams from scoring even small amounts of points. So solid work for Peru Unite. They hold on to a very tiny lead. We're really going to start seeing the game shift around this 8-minute mark here, as the middle birds being dominated by Peru Unite.
Yeah, looks like they're already gone. Matt's going a little bit far right there in that last engagement, by the way. Really wanted to find that KO, but unfortunately we saw the rotation down, and it was a lot of experience for a lot of people who really wanted experience. And so that's going to be a nice little early boost for the side of Peru Unite. You can see they've already got a couple level 7s, only one level 7 on the side of Aegis Flames. Looks like an attempt here maybe for an ambush. Yeah. That is a scary set of Pokemon to try and ambush you. Still a Clefairy right now. Tempo only has a little bit of help, not nearly enough. Finally, though, Anemo coming up with the Leafeon. That's going to be a huge chunk of damage on everybody. But, oh, not if you're the one who gets dunked. There, again, managed to sneak out just barely, picking up both berries in a row, finally getting KO'd. A ton of points in this top tier 1. Draken coming back to push, but probably going to get KO'd themselves. Yeah, not that much damage to support them. And I think eventually we're going to have to see Peru give this up. Well, I think they're taking relatively uncontested the basic red.
Yeah, that as well as Kea, I think, on the other tier 1 in the same path, going worthy sacrifice, as I will stack up my special attack specs. So I may not be able to save you now, but my Moonlight Healing will save you truly later.
yeah, eventually. And wow, okay, they do manage to take this. There was a little bit of a turnaround here as Peru sent a lot of members up top for that Regieleki. It seemed like it could have been pretty easy for Aegis Flames to take it, but they are now on bottom. There was a big like rotation around from both sides.
And just now we witnessed kind of that Saraledge soft counter with the Armourouge. So Zynus does have the full heal equipped. So the Saraledge Unite does cut through the Armourouge, leaves that huge mark that'll explode momentarily after, but it was cleansed with Armourouge as a full heal as they just kind of walk back to their base. So it's a long cooldown on that battle item though, so you gotta watch out. Maybe they can find a way to expose the, lack of battle item from Zynus a little bit later.
Yeah, there are a good amount of things that you could potentially want to try and use full heal on the Aegis Flames team. Yeah. A little bit of crowd control from pretty much everybody. Nobody's really all that pure damage, so we'll see if they end up making it come into play. The pull attempted, not going to land this time. Zyna's safe for the moment. That certainly would have been a situation you could not have gotten out of.
Yeah, a nasty Volt Switch angle as well, so far and right on the enemy goal zone. Like, even if there is a Unite move to contend with, I don't think Zynus is walking out of the one scot-free. They are posturing for a fight here on the bottom side, and there is that pull. Heavy slam to follow immediately after. Zynus is able to walk away, though, with that unstoppable.
Yeah, and I mean, Clefable healing is now at a hugely significant power level, so you can see how fast that managed to heal them back up. I believe that we probably need to combo something like the Buzzwole to land another crowd control. They really wanted that to happen. Oh no, an attempt at a pull, but they get caught out, and Matt's gonna go down. Maybe another follow-up KO here onto Snorlax. This is gonna be a tough situation. This is also opening the door for them to push down this tier 1 goal zone, and yeah, they're certainly gonna break this as soon as possible. They managed to get a big overdunk this time as well, but with the Hoopa on board, that is a big win for them.
Follow Me repositioning Zeraora for Volt, which is actually diabolical. Kea setting up some really nasty situations for Aegis Flames to have to play around. It seems like in this one, though, all they're going to be doing is setting up for a retreat, as everyone's got to bail and rally for this goal zone defense. 48 remaining. Draken take it away. Unite move to try to respond. They have a lot of HP, but that's absolutely blown up by the Saraledge.
Yeah, the Saraledge Unites have been landing extremely well. They're going to continue the push. We're going to see Anemo very low, but standing in the back line, able to still pick off Zeraora, and there's just not enough damage left. I mean, we do see Games here trying to follow up as many as possibly can, but there's just too many. That's going to be a full team wipe for Peru Unite. They are now the ones that are way far ahead in this game, almost about as much as their opponents were in the last game. I feel like the levels are similar, the points are similar. Yeah. We'll see if Aegis Flames can make it 100% similar and make a comeback.
Yeah. Not to mention the drafts being exactly similar. So truly mirror images in this game number 2. Peru Unite going to land on this Regieleki, a very cheeky steal attempt via the hyperspace hole, which does do a little bit of damage, but will not knock out the Regieleki, instead walking down towards that tier 2. Peru Unite now with a little bit of information on their screens. They will be able to see that 3 members of Aegis Flames are fighting that Regieleki, which of course means they're absent from every other part of the map. You see Draken and Kea playing all over the place, trying to find the other two missing Brazil players.
Yeah, on the bottom, we just see again a little bit of vision as they were able to see a few members of Aegis Flames down, again, farming these last-minute birds. The only thing that's really going to be spawning, I believe, in time, that Regilucky certainly won't come back, but this basement Reggie could be a big target. It's going to have about 30 seconds left when we get to it spawning, and everybody is down here. You can see, look how far forward this positioning is from Peru Unite. They're standing in this tall grass, but they're visible. You know, you can see them, and they're actually going to initiate. They're going to move in already and just get ambushed. But the thing is, the target is a defender, so they do manage to take on the Sarah Ledge. It's a pretty good win for them. They're all backed up. They've taken a KO each, but this Regirock is almost being ignored from Aegis Flames. They're like, okay, that was enough for us.
Right. Yeah, I think Peru Unite is so happy with that trade. They'll take the Mammo Swine for the Sarah Ledge any day of the week.
Yeah.
However, they won't have their defender for this initial positioning skirmish, right? So Rayquaza spawning in about 10 seconds. Aegis Flames does have map positioning, but I think the Armor Rouge and the Lucario, enough of a disincentive. They actually feel like they have to retreat back to their side of the map. Montaros, with this block, has been pretty proficient at trying to steal away an enemy target, but this time just trying to defend that Buzzwole.
Hope Unite coming out. Everybody once again jumping on the south. Who knows what's going to actually hit it? But once again, it looks like it's Peru. Exact same way that it happened last time. Impossible to tell, but we can see the result, and Peru confident in their secure ability. That's a triple for Armor Rouge. Armor Rouge certainly was an amazing pick, almost a quadra in this set. This is going to be nearly impossible to come back from. They've got a 350-ish point lead on the side of Peru. There's still a minute and 17 seconds left, though.
Yeah. You can ban Blaziken, but unfortunately Peru Unite has Blaziken at home, which is power-up punch Lucario in the middle of the Rayquaza pit, and it still succeeds. But like you mentioned, Wonder Chef, a minute left. Kay gonna make that a whole lot harder, though, adding yet another Hundo Burger to the final bill. Peru Unite defending against this one very far forward. Zydus and Draken not retreating to their tier 2 for the healing and safety, instead trying to pull single targets away and let Anemo and Draken get to work. Anemo in particular has 2 KOs in a row.
There's an attempt to push here, but 2 members down, 3 members down, and in the meantime, Clefable is going all the way to back cap in the home base. A lot of damage here coming out from who's left of Aegis Flames, but unfortunately it's going to be down to 1, another Hundo Burger. That's going to certainly seal the deal. 26 seconds left. Nobody from Aegis Flames still up on the map. Peru Unite have ended one of the most legendary runs that we have ever seen in UCS, any UCS tournament, but especially a World's Championship tournament. So great stuff to Aegis Flames, but Peru are monsters this weekend.
Peru Unite finding yet another way to level up. I think drafting into this Sarah or a Sarah Ledge Cup